The Land of Shadows. Haydens and Hunters. I handed Sebastian a radio and took one myself. I turned to the others and said, "Turn down the radio volume so that it doesn't bother you while you're sleeping. We'll let you know if there's any news." Elisabeth said, "Don't let it bother you." "No, but if you were awake, we could talk if you wanted." I went to the roof. Sebastian came with me. I was supposed to be on the roof and he was by the door, but it was better this way. We were together. We didn't get bored and I didn't fall asleep. I put the night vision camera next to me. The view of the city was spectacular from up there. We could see lights in the distance. Even other parts of the city where people were living their normal lives. This part of the city was connected to other parts of the city by suspension bridges that were built over the water. But now, with the two sides of the bridges separated, it was separated from the other parts. I asked, "Did you think about such a situation? Now, instead of being in our own blood, we became displaced in our own city and had to wait for an accident every day and every night. Since the day that company's case came under my control, my heart testified to the bad news. But I didn't believe that this disaster would happen to us. I thought we would manage it anyway." The project also got out of the control of its owners and became their own problem. At first, many tried to leave here. But when they faced obstacles from the military forces, many also seized the opportunity and established a government for themselves. I said, "Okay. We don't have zombies in the city, at least we are not worried about being infected." Sebastian asked, "Are you sure there are no zombies in the city?" "Yes, I haven't seen one yet. As for the hunters, I thought at first that if they bit someone, they would come back to life after a while. But that didn't happen in prison." A movement caught my attention. I picked up the gun and looked into its camera. I zoomed in. Nothing was visible in the darkness. Sebastian adjusted the night vision scope to his face. I asked, "Do you see anything?" "Nothing. But I'm sure I saw something. Maybe it was the hunters." "No, it's not them, of course, the ones under my command." After a while, he said, "But there's something there." "On the floor?" "No. But on the wall." I said, "Damn. I think it's one of the company's monsters. It can walk on walls and ceilings. It was the one who brought this disaster on Elisabeth. It has 6 legs and a long tail." "Yes, you saw them too." "Yes. He's walking on the wall near the store." "Oh my God." I searched for him with the gun camera. Finally I saw that bastard. I aimed at him. Sebastian said, "Our guests are getting more and more." I said, "Will the hunters become opponents of these?" "They should be. It's possible that their fight will bring that armed group here too. Then things will really get worse." I looked away from the camera and looked at him and said, "Are you kidding? Are you worried too?" Sebastian said, "Are you surprised?" "Yes, I'm worried too. This virus doesn't completely eliminate human emotions." I nodded and shrugged. I followed their movement with the camera again. I aimed at the forehead of one of them and said, "Die." I shot. The monster fell down from the wall. I smiled. The other monsters gathered around it and waved at it. Suddenly they raised their heads towards us and roared. I said, "Did they notice us? Did they see us?" "No, but they sensed our presence, the smell of threat." Aha! I prepared for the next shots. Sebastian also took his gun and aimed. The Haydens quickly set off. I felt a slight thud and vibration. After a while, the hunters appeared. The monsters clashed. Savagery in every sense. They fought each other with sharp claws and teeth. Suddenly I noticed something. While one Hayden was fighting the hunter, Another Hayden was jumping on the hunter's back using the power of movement on the walls. I said, "I will not let you win." I shot the Haydens that jumped on the hunters and drove them away. Sebastian also killed several of them. The hunters, with their roars, drew more of their kind to the scene of battle. One of the hunters grabbed Hayden's head and neck between his teeth and severed it with a single push. The monster's heavy body fell to the ground. The hunter's entire muzzle and neck were covered in blood. It was a gruesome and terrifying scene. A large wound opened on the side of one of the hunters, caused by Hayden's claw, and blood flowed. Hayden launched a second attack, which I did not spare. The hunter also took advantage of the opportunity and tore him apart. Their battle with us continued for an hour. As the number of hunters increased and the casualties we inflicted on them increased, the Haydens were forced to flee and retreat. I did not let them go while they fled and continued to shoot. Sebastian said, "Enough," they left.